How to paint a fall scene. I have to warn you that this is not your average watercolor autumn landscape top tips for beginners video. This is a guide on how to paint fall scenes that inspire you and how to make your whole painting process for the fall season so much more exciting. Hi, I'm Françoise. Welcome to my channel where you'll find tips, tricks, and tutorials for watercolor, oil pastels, gouache, and more. Let's get right into this. My first tip for you is to start building a collection of reference photos for the fall season that truly inspire you, first and foremost. And I'm gonna guide you on how to find the best ones for you, the ones that get you pumped up to start painting. I recommend free stock photo sites like Unsplash, Pixabay, and Pexels. These are the ones that I and a lot of other artists use because there are not many other good options of the kind online. These three websites are awesome because not only can you use these photos for free, even sell your art using them without risking trouble, but there is a whole lot of high quality pictures to choose from. But wait, because I have a trick that many people don't know about when it comes to using these websites to their full potential. Let me explain. I've noticed from posting a lot on Instagram and using these very common websites for the last couple of years that it is not uncommon that two people or more end up painting the same photo, which sometimes is frustrating. And I want to tell you a little story. I even got in trouble from someone on Instagram who thought I had been copying someone who is very famous in the art industry just because we had been painting from the same reference photo in a similar realistic style. And when you paint realistically, it's gonna look like the photo reference. So yeah, I got in trouble for that. And while it's very unlikely that this happens to you or to me again, the problem with these websites is that it's very common when you search keywords to always being fed the same photos over and over because like YouTube and Instagram, these websites push certain images. Now get this, to find your best photos, the ones that are going to inspire you for the fall season or any other season or any other topic, there is a trick. In the main search, the photos everyone always sees every time you spot one photo you like, and it can be the way it is shot, the atmosphere, or whatever appeals to you there, click on the name of the person who took it. This is where it gets interesting because most people who come up in search that we have access to, they've published dozens, hundreds, thousands of photos that haven't been pushed by the algorithm and that we don't know about. Chances are, if you like one of their photos already, the others will appeal to you. When you're on their page, you scroll down until you can spot these fall colors, and there you go. Because most times they're inspired like us artists, and they post according to the seasons, so it's easy to spot sections with just the fall photos. Back in August, I built myself a library of hundreds of these photos to prepare for the fall season, and when I feel the urge to paint, all I need to do is dig into it. I love to have a bunch of beautiful fall landscape photos ready for use. Please let me know below how this tip inspires you right now to get your own photos and start painting. My second tip for you is to make the most of your watercolors to paint beautiful fall scenes. And this tip is going to help whether you paint from reference or not. The first obvious step you probably already heard of is to pick these autumn shades out of your palette. I'm talking about yellows, oranges, reds, greens, browns, and purples. If you need help deciding on a certain palette, one thing that works well is to type fall season or autumn palette in Google search, go to image and look for inspiration there. To narrow this down, you can also type fall season palette green orange if you already know the colors that you want to use and see what other colors they pair up well with. I use this method when I create something from scratch without a reference photo or when I want to change the colors in my reference. Now there is another step you can take with your watercolors to convey a warm autumn feeling. And that is mixing colors to achieve shades that look great for the fall. I'll give you an example right here. Take green for instance. Let's say I want to use this Hooker's green shade. I find it's a little bit strong, a bit too vibrant for the fall season. To me, and that is everyone's own perception of course, it looks more like a shade of green I would use for spring when plants are thriving and growing again. So a simple step to take is to mix a little bit of a yellow to this green. You could also replace this with orange, why not? And there you've got yourself a shade of green that is more characteristic of the fall season. Think about it, and you can even take a leaf as an example for that. The leaf is a lush green and then it slowly turns into a brown one. In the process, there are a bunch of colors surfacing like yellow, red, orange. This is how I'm deciding of which color to mix into my main color. In the same way, take brown. Brown alone is awesome for the fall season. Now you could imagine adding any of those colors I mentioned before to make it look like a different shade that will still be a great fit for autumn. Same with blue, it's not your typical fall color, but when you add yellow, just a little bit, it turns into a more muted autumn-like blue, while the original is more characteristic of summer. Again, this is open to interpretation and preference, but it's a thought process you can use and apply to your paintings, especially when it comes to painting the seasons. On to my third tip for you today. How about infusing a certain mood for your paintings? And I don't know about you, but I feel a certain way when we approach the fall season, when we get into the fall season, and while we go through the fall season. So I guess that's gonna vary with each and every one of us. For me, for instance, it's a season for fresh starts and renewal. I feel like studying, probably because of school starting again after a summer break. And I feel like sitting on the couch with a good hefty book and hot chocolate or tea. I'm sensitive to the vibrant orange shades of autumn, but I feel more drawn by the brown tones, by an overall cozy feeling. So what is it for you? Give it some thought to get your inspiration flowing, and that will help you select your reference photos and color palettes that are gonna get you all pumped up for painting. I can suggest warm yellows, oranges, greens, and reds for a more energizing mood, and some great topics would involve trees, leaves, pumpkins, and yummy fruit like pears, apples, and pomegranates. For more of a cozy, comforting look like the one I created with this painting, I would lean towards more brown, balanced with a little bit of the colors I just mentioned. And if to you at a certain time the fall feels more like a gloomy season, like more Halloween-esque or slipping into the winter type feeling, then why not use more purples and browns? Something to keep in mind is to keep some very light as well as very dark tones in a painting to make these colors come out even better. This is what I did here with the strong shadows and reflections of the wood contrasting with the much lighter water and sky. Keep an eye out on my Skillshare classes to dive further into the fall season paintings with my full guidance. I'll place a free access link in the description of this video as I'm preparing new classes now in addition to the ones I already have on there. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a lot about how to paint a fall scene that inspires you. If so, please like, share, and comment to help it being seen by others on YouTube. And also please subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay notified each time I upload. Thank you for watching and see you next time!